she's been getting blasted left and right, especially after news got out about her impending divorce with Ben Affleck. And one could almost understand the negativity surrounding her. I mean, let's be real here. JLo's pattern of changing love interests like toothbrushes didn't exactly help matters, which is why it wasn't totally surprising when celebs started stepping out to share their thoughts on it. Marc Anthony and Arod were two A-listers that didn't hesitate to share their thoughts on the matter. You know how people have been wondering why all of JLo's relationships always seem to end in disaster? Well, Marc Anthony and Arod are claiming to have all the answers, and what they have to say about it might shock you. According to them, JLo's next door neighbor facade is nothing but a ruse, and JLo might have been hiding a really nasty side in plain view all along. And it looks like their exes are about to team up to show us who the real Jenny is. Is JLo being manipulated by angry exes who want to exact revenge and get back at her? Or have all the accusations been pointing at the central truth? Keep watching because we're about to unravel this puzzle. Why don't we talk about Marc Anthony, JLo's one-time flame and father of her twins? Rumor has it that he and JLo are currently engaged in a feisty fight about JLo's parenting skills, and one can hardly blame him. Imagine being a kid surfing through the internet only to find your mom's face splashed across every gossip blog, and they've all got the most horrendous words to say. Marc had been watching all these incidents unfold from a distance, but things finally got personal after JLo's reunion with Ben Affleck. For the longest time ever, Marc Anthony and JLo were known as Hollywood's favorite couple, but things fell apart after Marc and Jennifer suddenly announced their divorce. Who would have thought that the same couple who were posing for the camera just a few days ago earlier would split up? What was the real reason for their breakup? Marc says it was simple. Their marriage was no longer working. They both anticipated it, so it wasn't a big surprise. The hardest part, however, was explaining it to their twins, Max and Emmy. Marc will always be their father, and they are used to him and Jennifer being on the move, so they are dealing with it as the best way they can. But what was the reason for the split? It wasn't American Idol or her putting in extra hours. Anyone who knows me can vouch for how I've been there for her since the beginning. Now, he's concerned that all this back and forth is throwing the kids off balance. Let's face it, kids need balance like children need oxygen. You might be wondering, don't Marc and JLo have co-parenting out? Well, surprise, this whole Benifer situation is really putting a strain on that dynamic. It's like trying to stop a tower of cards from collapsing in a storm. Marc feels like JLo is putting her love life ahead of the kids, and that's creating some serious friction between them. The drama isn't just personal, it's affecting JLo's career too. She's been working on a big project called The Greatest Love Story Never Told, but it could easily turn into the greatest disaster story ever told if things keep going south. Why? Because she's struggling to get other stars on board. The biggest blow? Anthony Ramos, the up-and-coming star from In the Heights, reportedly passed on a role in her project. Ouch. And here's the kicker. Rumor says he turned it down because JLo's situation with Marc. That must have led to a pretty intense chat between JLo and Marc. Can you picture that conversation? Now, let's not forget about Arod, JLo's ex-fiance, the baseball star. He's not just sitting back and watching the Benifer saga unfold. He's got his own opinions, and they're not exactly positive. Word is, Arod is feeling pretty bitter about how things ended with JLo. Can you blame him? One minute he's planning a wedding, and the next he's seeing JLo back with her ex all over the tabloids. That's gotta hurt. So check this out. Arod has apparently called the time after his split from JLo the worst year ever. But what's got him thinking JLo isn't being real with Ben? It could be because she moved on so fast. Arod's take on this whole situation is pretty wild. He's suggesting that JLo hops from one relationship to another, always chasing the next big thing. And let's not forget about Ohani Noah, JLo's first husband, who's been spilling some serious gossip. He claims that JLo really only loves one person, herself. That's a pretty bold statement, right? But it gets even better. He's been saying she transformed from Jen to JLo, a massive brand raking in millions. Ohani never brought into their fairy tale marriage. He said, "I wish her and Ben the best, but I'm not so sure it would last." He added, "I see her getting married 7 or 8 times. I can't picture her settling down with just one person. She's always pushing herself in her career, which is why she's had a 3-decade run, but she also moves on in her personal life." We've heard from the exes, but now let's dive into the breakup that's got everyone talking. It's JLo and Ben's first wedding anniversary. While most couples are celebrating with champagne and cake, These two are filing for divorce. Remember all the buzz about when they actually split? Well, the divorce papers revealed the scoop. They separated on April 26, 2024. That means they were living separate lives for months before making it official. Looks like their happily ever after was not a lifelong thing. It may seem likely that a high-profile Hollywood couple such as JLo and Ben Affleck would have a long-lasting marriage, yet that's not accurate. These two people got married without any money saved up. In California, where they filed for divorce, it means that everything they made while they were married will be shared equally. Speaking of sharing things, let's talk about the $60 million house they bought together. You know, the one that probably has more bathrooms than all the houses around here combined. It's available now. They already put it up for sale before they started a divorce, which makes you think they might have seen this coming. Now, this is where things get really crazy. JLo chose to get a divorce without hiring a lawyer. That's correct, she's going against the book of law. But really, this decision has everyone confused. Is JLo in such a rush to move on that she's ready to lose millions, or does she believe she will definitely succeed? Either way, it's a brave decision. And guess what? JLo is not asking for any money from her husband. Some people might think that's impressive, but others are questioning what's really happening. Is she trying to start fresh? People are saying that JLo and Ben have been talking a lot about something important for months. It seems their communication is so poor that it feels like they are speaking different languages. Maybe that's why JLo chose to go without a lawyer. She thought she couldn't do any worse by herself. Here's the problem. Without a prenup and with everything you both own together, this divorce might become messy. Legal experts are already saying it will be very complicated. People are saying that JLo wanted to make things official with Ben so badly that she didn't want a prenup. She really wanted to show that this time it was serious. People are saying that Ben is delaying the divorce because he wants to make money from it. He might take half of everything she earned while they were together. But was there another reason behind this? Were they only in it for the money? Well, let's be real. Jennifer doesn't need any of Ben's spare cash. They first met more than 20 years ago. Although they stopped dating in 2004, they got back together in a big way in 2021. In 2022, Benifer 2.0 got married. JLo is getting ready to release her 9th album, and her biggest fan is Ben. He's right there supporting her and cheering her on. It's not only about the music. This powerful pair has a total worth of more than $500 million, which is really surprising. But don't get it wrong, JLo is definitely the one making more money in this relationship. Let's discuss the numbers. JLo and Ben have a total of about $640 million. That's a lot of money. And it's not just from their movies and music. We're discussing fancy properties and lots of brand partnerships. But here's the surprising part. JLo has 70% of that wealth. She has $450 million because she is successful in music and movies all over the world. She has sold more than 80 million records. Her On the 6 tour made about $765,000, and her Dance Again World Tour earned over $50 million. She's not just setting records, she's smashing them. And then there's her salary. JLo is not only about her music and acting, she also knows how to handle business really well. She usually makes about $9 million for each movie. To give you an idea, she earned $1 million for her big role in Selena. Also, when she's not acting, she's doing great as a judge on American Idol, earning $2 million each season. Now, let's talk about Ben. Ben's wealth is somewhat smaller than JLo's, ranging from $150 million to $190 million. But don't underestimate him, he still has a lot of money coming in. His land close to Savannah, where they got married, is worth more than $7 million. They also spent a lot of money on a $64 million mansion together. We're talking about a house with 8 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, and an amazing 16,000 square feet of luxury. Ben makes about $22 to $24 million each year, mainly from his jobs as a filmmaker, actor, and promoting brands. He gets paid between $12 million and $15 million for his movies, and just to show off a bit, he made $35 million from playing Batman in 2014. But that's not including his gambling debts. Fans have their guesses, thinking that might be why she called off that tour. She realized what was going to happen and knew she would have to share the money. Another idea is that he intended this all along. He hurried to get married without a prenuptial agreement, let her buy a house, and now he plans to take advantage of her. Instead of ending the relationship clearly, he has been keeping her in the dark for months, hoping they could get back together. Some people think he's gross and that she shouldn't keep hanging out with these guys putting everything on the line for them. But remember, this isn't just about JLo and Ben, there's the way people see you in public. JLo has had more famous breakups than most people have had hot meals. Will this be the thing that damages her perfect image, or will she find a way to turn it into another success story? You know how people say history keeps happening again? Well, JLo's love life seems to keep repeating itself. Think about it, from Ohani Noah to Ben Affleck 2 times, if you're keeping track. JLo has been moving from one famous relationship to another. But here's the point, it's not only about JLo now. Her former partners are talking, and they are sharing unflattering news about her. Marc, Arod, and Ohani Noah are all saying the same thing, but it's not about love don't cost a thing. We're not saying JLo is a bad person here, not at all. Relationships can be tricky, especially when you're known by many people. But when 3 exes say similar things, you begin to think there might be some truth to it. On the other hand, some people are pointing Ben Affleck as a good choice. He's someone who cheats, has a gambling problem, and drinks too much. But it doesn't stop there. It turns out that Ben Affleck might have influenced JLo's PR decisions way much more than we think, and while she's been the only one facing public stigma, Ben Affleck's long list of crimes could go on forever. Want to find out about them? Make sure to hit the bell and subscribe icon to get an instant update on the new next video. But what do you think? Is JLo the real liar and flirt, or is this a setup of the exes? Let us know in the comment section down below. Drama is brewing in Hollywood, and it goes beyond anything you could ever imagine.